Hey everyone, I just want to take some time today to show you how I do some of those black and white to color pictures that I do. It's super easy. I'm going to show you and you're going to be like, that's it. And it's not going to be as amazing as everyone thinks it is. All right, so let's get started. So here we have a black and white picture of Nightcrawler. You can see here it's still black and white, so we're going to go up to, let's see, it's under image and then increase color depth, and you want to do it to 16 million colors if it is set to black and white. Once you do that, you have a color palette. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a new Rasta layer, and this is all in Paint Shop Pro. You're going to leave it at 100% for right now. And click OK. And once you do that, what you're going to do is you're going to pick a color that is normally a little bit darker than the color you would normally choose. And the reason for that is eventually we're going to do something with the layers that lightens it. So you want a darker color so that when you do lighten the layer, it actually comes through with the sort of correct color that you're wanting. So what you're going to do is, it's just like you're in 5th grade, you're going to have to trace around everything that you want to color. And if there's any broken lines, it will actually, color the whole page, because it'll just basically spill ink all over the place. So we have Nightcrawler's face here. Now I want to make sure his eyes don't get colored and his mouth don't get colored. So I'm going to highlight around those. And then what you will do is color his tail and basically color everything that is that color. So we're going to take his tail, which is also blue, and color that as well. Now we have it all traced out and now we color it. So now it's all blue and you think, well, that's super weird, but don't worry about it. Just leave it like that. Next, what I'm going to do is the area of the bamfing of his teleportation. So we're going to color around that. And if the thing is already colored like the blue, we won't have to worry about coloring in the blue because that's already a solid color of the layer. So it won't spill into that. But like for here, we're going to have to trace around his hand because that hand technically does not have any color to it because we have an invisible layer over it. So now we color that in and we're just going to do the same thing over and over and over. And I do zoom in and out quite frequently to get like a better view of what I am looking at. And yeah, as you can see, I'm kind of like, with the teleportation, I'm just kind of like assuming like I'm not getting it completely. And that's because I'll do something a little bit later with the layer where I'm going to like smudge it and give it like a more cloudy look than actually just that solid color. So now we've colored that in, and you can see there's some where you can just go in and refill a little bit. So now we're going to work on his costume with the red. And you can see I'm not doing like 100% because, or not nailing it like 100% like perfectly traced. And that's because we can go in afterwards and fix it or do like a little smudge, or sometimes it won't even matter too much. Because when I do the fade out, it's not even noticeable if it's like not right on the spot. And you see I forgot to trace here the black part, and so that caused the whole thing to spill and color everything red. So there we go. Now we're going to do yellow for the eyes. Go ahead and I'm going to touch this up. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm wondering what I'm doing. I'm picking a color that is not present in any of the Nightcrawler photos and something that will contrast all the other colors. So this orange will be basically the background color that will be this image. So I'm going to have to trace around everywhere where there is no drawing already of Nightcrawler's hand on this layer, because this will be the background. So if you don't do it, it's going to fill everything in. And thankfully, because of his teleportation, this is really easy. It's pretty much just his hand. see I missed the spot somewhere, which would, you can see it's his arms. Like, it gets really hard to sometimes see that because you see that it is colored black, but if you look at his arms, neither section of his arms are colored. But everywhere else, we've got it. So it's in his arms. So what we'll do is we'll go in here. Oh, and this is something that you can do also. So if you're looking, for example, you didn't notice that it's his arms, you can do process of elimination. You can draw solid lines to try to determine, like, narrow down where the break is that is not visible. And this is what I'm doing here. Because sometimes it can be literally one pixel that's not colored, and it'll cause this thing where it colors in everything. So what I'm doing here is now I'm going to do the top. See, so we know because of it's his arms that, okay, well, the top we know. So now I'm going to narrow it down further. And I think this comes from my days of working in IT. There's troubleshooting here. So now we've narrowed it down. See, we can see that now it's his arms, clearly, that are the issue. And we verify. So now what I want to do next is I actually want to color in Nightcrawler's hands to give it... I don't like leaving colors white, so I usually will take white and I'll color it with a light gray so that it does have some color. And now what you're going to do, here's where the magic happens. You're going to go to properties from the layers, and you're going to change the how transparent it is. So you kind of get it to the color that you want. So for me, it's right here, and you can see, you can see the shadows from behind of the original Nightcrawler picture. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go to layers, and you're going to merge these. So what that does is that takes the top layer and flattens it. So now you take the color thing, the color replacer, and you're going to basically click on the dark blue and then tell it to replace it with black. So what that now does is where it was shaded before, it's turning that into a solid black. And then you'll do the same thing for the teleporting. So you take the dropper, you find out like that shade of purple that has that, tell it to turn it black. And so now you have this amazingly colored effect. And you do this repeatedly, like do it for the hands, do it for the robes. Or not the robes, whatever you want to call it that he wears, the little V. So just grab that, and you tell it to change it to black. So now it has the shading of the original image, pretty much. And there's going to be some that you're not going to be able to grab. Like if you do it too much, you can change the tolerance to try to get as close as you want. But sometimes it's just, there's going to be some that don't change to black, and that's usually fine. And depending on how crazy you are, you can go in here and change the coloring. If you really want to fine tune it, go in after you've merged it to get everything that you want. Now you can just mess with it. You can increase the brightness, the contrast. And now what I want to do with this is create another new layer. And I'm basically going to draw like a big purple area. I want to get the color of that, so I'm using the dropper. And then now I'm using the pen. I'm just going to make this purple thing. Now follow me here. It may seem like I'm doing madness, but you'll see what I'm doing. So now I'm going to go ahead and color this in. Boom. Boom. Now if you're thinking, well, what are you doing? Like, this seems crazy. Watch. So we're going to take that layer that I just made for this and lighten it. We'll do like 50% so you can still visually see it. Now what you're going to do is you're going to smudge it. So you're going to increase the size of this pen. And you're going to smudge this. And there's no right or wrong way for the smudging. You're basically going to do it until you get kind of the feel and the effect that you want. But what I'm trying to do here is, like, since Nightcrawler's teleporting and you have this like boom effect, I want to make it so that there's also this kind of like smoky background that's kind of the same color to indicate this is all part of his teleportation. So I'm going to go ahead and color down here with this layer. And it's already set to 50%, so I'm going to kind of already see what it's going to look like since I already changed it for the top portion. And take it, color it, boom. And do the same thing, take the smudge tool and basically just smudge it. Now something I want to do is, because this is Nightcrawler's teleportation, anytime it was like on his hands or his face or anything like that, that is stuff that's in the forefront or should be in the forefront. So to create that effect like he's coming out of this teleportation, smoke, you want to make sure that it's not in front of his hands or in front of his face or like his upper chest. Like his legs are fine because that's kind of like jumping out. But where I did the smudging, I made sure that it did not cover his hands or his face or his upper chest, because I want to create that illusion that he is coming out of this smoke. I'm kind of pushing it away from his hands, but still kind of smudging it. And you're going to take that once you're done with it, and you're going to merge it. And there is your Nightcrawler all done. So now we're going to do a quick one of Spider-Man. We're going to really increase the speed on this, since I've already told you all the steps, but you're going to basically see how this happens without me talking too much.
101.
Oh yeah, it was lightning. Everybody was fighting when the music was so